Well, he has the potential to be a bit of a surprise package, a mystery man in many regards, Eberom Rondon, who didn't take up boxing until he was into his 30s. He's been cramming an awful lot of experience into a short space of time. 9 fights in 2018, another 9 in 2019 as well. Obviously, the COVID global pandemic has curtailed that growth spurt in terms of his experience. He had a couple of fights, though, still, despite that last year, which takes him to 20-0. By and large, he's been taking on debutants, inexperienced rivals, and those with losing records. He is very much out of the frying pan into the fire tonight against a talented amateur now making his way in the game. What to expect from Rondon, we're about to find out.
And now time to welcome into the ring for the first time this evening, the champion all the way from Kazakhstan, Tursınbay Kulahmet.
Well, while we don't know that much about Rondon, we do about Tursınbay Kulahmet. He was a World Championship bronze medalist as an amateur a couple of years ago in the elite game, and now as a pro he has raced to 2-0. He's got an attractive style, he's got an aggressive come forward streak. I think a little bit of fire in his belly and I think attitude in his game to Kulahmet. We've already seen him a couple of times from ringside, and looking forward to seeing him again and how much he's learned from being around Carl Frampton in that gym.
So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Ahmed A. Siddiqui for D4G Promotions proudly presents 10 rounds of boxing for this, the WBC International Super Welterweight title, live from Dubai. Your 3 judges ringside are from the United Arab Emirates, Walid Shahabi, Mike Hale from the United Kingdom, and also ringside, Gary Katanowski from the United Kingdom, also from the United Kingdom. Your timekeeper at the bell is Reese Calden, your referee here in the ring when the action begins all the way from France is Ali Obeil. A warm welcome then to our officials, now to introduce the boxers officially to you. First, fighting out of the red corner with an unbeaten record of 20 wins, no defeats, and 13 of those wins coming by way of knockout. Weighing in at the official weigh-in at 153.6 pounds from Los Teques, Venezuela, Eberom Rondon. His opponent fighting out of the blue corner for you this evening with an unbeaten record of 2 wins, no defeats, with one of those coming by knockout. Weighing in at 153.6 pounds, the reigning, the defending WBC International Super Welterweight Champion from Kizilorda in Kazakhstan, Tursınbay Kulahmet. We'll now call on the referee to give his initial and final instructions to the boxers. Final words from the referee. Final thoughts ahead of the big fight. We are seconds out for the first fight of the night.
Looking forward to this one, kick-starting an evening of World Championship action. And alongside me, Barry Jones, a man who once held the very belt that Herring now holds, and Frampton is trying to create his history by grabbing off him later on tonight. Barry, you and I have seen Kulahmet a couple of times. We've liked what we've seen so far. He's got a little bit of devil about him too.
He has. He's been hugely impressive. He really has. Just the maturity in his work. He looks like a seasoned pro already in his debut, but certainly in his second fight against a real tough competitor in McGowan, he just looked so composed, really did.
He did. He was too big, too good for McGowan, who did well, having been hurt in the 7th round in that fight last time up. That was back in November, fight you may have seen on one of our broadcasts. He did show perhaps just elements of inexperience that night, Barry. He looked like he might get McGowan out of there, I think, in the middle, sort of second third of the fight, and then maybe McGowan's courage was the deciding factor in that. Just little elements I thought of inexperience might have let him down from really making a statement. But I tell you what, he's well on his way to doing that here. Right hook, was it?
He did that same move. He did the same move about 15 seconds ago. Feinted with the jab, jumped in with the right hook, lead right hook, dropped him.
Tell you what, this guy very late in getting back up, Rondon, and he's looking a bit. Oh my goodness me! Well, he looked unsteady, but he chose attack as a form of defence, and in the end, it left him defenceless. And that's a spectacular knockout and a tremendous start to the evening.
And it always looks a lot worse when you're throwing, when you get hit when you're throwing as well, because you're turning your body into the shot. But again, just the composure there, Kulukhmet. He didn't know he stays inside the body frame when he throws his shots, so he has to turn from the waist when he throws those hooks. Where you see Rondon throwing those big wide hooks with a big gap in between there for Kulukhmet just to stay composed, nice and neat, and just see the gap. Listen, we don't know how good Rondon was. He comes in with a big punching record, but for what level we don't quite know that. But what we know of Kulukhmet is in 3 fights, he looks really impressive, composed in his work. You know, can outbox real tough guys like McGowan, and you know, McGowan will want to say in this, and beats him up for 10 rounds. Great composure and a lovely shot to finish it. Really lovely punch.
Yeah, he's shown so far in his career he's got a little bit about him, that little sort of mental attitude and approach to go along with the technique. That was the first right hand which he just missed with.
Well, you see it there, and again there, that's the one that puts him down. He just little feint. It's almost it's so subtle you almost don't see it. It's a little move of the shoulder to feint that jab, and then comes in there with that right hook. And then when Rondon, you know, to his credit, went out and thought he'll mix fire with fire, but being wide with those elbows wide and throwing wide hooks, someone like Kulukhmet who always keeps his shape, just steps inside, sees the opening, throws that lovely right hook, and it was all over.
Well, he was slow getting to his feet after the first right hook landed, and I must admit I thought he was going to be counted out. The referee let him get back to his feet and then commence, and then he chose to fight head on, meet fire with fire, and those were the wrong tactics for a clinical technician like Kulukhmet.
But also, he goes in with, you know, he's knocked a load of people out. 13 was it, maybe out of 20 wins. So he fancies that if he can hit you, he can hurt you. But when you're tall and long, you've got to keep your distance, and you know, trying to throw shorter hooks with a guy who's a bit shorter than you and already, you know, keeps his shape really well. That's always a dangerous move to make. But he gambled and it didn't come off. But Kulukhmet didn't know, where'd you go with him now? Because you've stepped him up. And you know, he's had 3 fights now, and it's just looking at the guy's records, however good they are. You know, he boxed everyone with a winning record, so you know, he'd be looking for another one within 10 fights. He'd be looking for some sort of major honour, you would feel, if he keeps going the way he's going.
Well, this international title of sorts with the WBC, of course, garners you some ranking points, pops him sort of top 20, top 15 anyway. You'd like to think he needs more experience before you're talking about the, you know, Jamal Charles at the top of the tree, and Tim Zhu, who had made a statement performance just the other day down under 2. You'd like to think, even with his amateur experience, he wants more seasoning before he gets there.
I don't think they do. I think they want to rush him there. I think it is, but as you say, there's a note of caution. It's a really difficult weight. It really is.
So the first fight of the night has come to a conclusion after 1 minute and 40 seconds of the first round. A win by knockout, win by KO, and still the reigning and defending WBC International Super Welterweight Champion from Kazakhstan, Tursınbay Kulahmет.